Hey there, Great Physique Fitness, and I got some questions and answers. I'm not going to be able to get to all of them today, but how much does it cost to do a competition? And I'm going to put these in the description, each question, so you can skip to them if you don't want to, if one question is relevant to you. So how much does it cost to do a competition? I would say at least $1,000. It depends. Like when I first started, I was on a budget and I was passionate about it, and I would find like a hotel. I would try to find a hotel close to the area, and I would try to save money on hotels because usually the host hotels that the competition recommends is it's $350 or $400 for 2 nights or something like that, and now I pay it now that I'm more financially secure and such. But if you're on a budget, I can understand. All I can say is make sure that you know exactly where the venue is where you're competing from the hotel, because I can tell you story after story where I got lost. Back when I was doing it, we didn't have 11 years ago, did GPS on our phones, and at least I didn't back then. And even when I did, like it would take me in circles. I remember, and it would get me lost. So you're going to have organization fees. You're going to have whichever class you're competing in fees. If you're doing more than one class, you're going to have them fees. You want to have pictures as well. If you look good enough, you want to buy your pictures. And it depends where you travel. If you, like me, I went to Chicago one time, it's going to cost more. So it depends. Just, I'd say at least $1,000 though. All right. Why do I go on about naturally building a base? Because it's important to build your base naturally. You're going to learn how to train. I would say it takes 5 years to learn how to train intense. You need to learn nutrition. You need to learn how nutrition works with your body. And there's an instance I can think of where I thought probably 2.5 years in, I thought I was doing 2 years in, 2.5 years in, I thought I was doing all I can nutritionally, naturally. Then a few years later, I made some strides and learned naturally. So I learned in that area, and I thought I was at wit's end, like I couldn't get any better naturally. So many times you're wrong. You think you're not going to get any better, and it might take a couple years, but you learn something. So alrighty. And yeah, it's really important to build your base naturally, because if you do decide to use hormones, then where are you going to go, from there, and you're relying on hormones to do that. So yeah, that's important. Now I'm on testosterone replacement therapy. I started when I was 33 because my endocrine system. I went to an endocrinologist and he put me on it. My testosterone just wouldn't come up, probably from using hormones. So, but that's beside the point. So I started that when I was 33. I used from 23 to 33, and I took some natural breaks in there, like 3 years, a year, 2.5 years here and there. Okay, for question and answer for women and men as well, age, there seems to be a shift in hormones, seemingly make it more difficult to stay lean, feel energetic, and build and maintain muscle mass. Are there any diets and supplements that can help with this weight management, feeling energetic, keeping the hormones more regulated? Yeah, I would say that just getting in the gym and training, resistance exercise, at least once a week, hitting each body part once a week. That's important. It'll strengthen bones. It'll release stress. Um, you know, um, females they have weaker bones than men because they don't have testosterone. Got osteopenia or osteoporosis. Men as well, it strengthens bones as well, builds bone density. Sleep, you need a certain amount of sleep each night. It's different for everybody. That's super important. If you don't have enough sleep, cortisol is going to be released. It can cause fat gain, mental fatigue, all that. So I would make sure the basics are covered first. That has to be covered first before like any supplements come into play. What are your thoughts on cannabis with bodybuilding? Well, my thoughts used to be that I wouldn't have anything to do with it until I came across something in 2018 that showed that super concentrated THC, I think it's in oral form, like liquid form, kills cancer cells, as does the ketogenic diet. Ketogenic diet shrinks cancer cells up and kills them. I think this is the same thing, but yeah. Then that led me on to some more research, which I found that they did a 20-year cannabis study where they took tobacco users only, tobacco and cannabis users, and cannabis only users. And this was on lung function, 20-year study. They found that tobacco users' lung function got worse, and there were instances of cancer in there. Same thing with the cannabis and tobacco users, showing tobacco causes cancer, which we all know. And the cannabis-only users' lung function actually improved, and no instances of cancer. So cannabis really doesn't affect your lungs. And in the study results say it actually improved. I don't know if it's from smoking it or some people eat edibles. I would think exercise does the same thing from heavy breathing. If they did a study on that, they would show that exercise improves lung function versus non-exercise people. So there is some. There was also a 1993 anti-cannabis journalist. She was sent from her boss to go down to Jamaica. Cannabis is legal in Jamaica, where women smoke it while they're pregnant. It helps nausea. And they did some tests on the babies, the kids, until they got to 5 years old, and it showed it didn't harm any cognitive function. Cognitive function actually improved. Now, this was from like an anti-cannabis thing back in 1993, and the women came out with it. You can find these studies online. I found them. Some studies show that cannabis does affect REM sleep, which is rapid eye movement sleep. It shortens it. Alcohol does the same thing. It shortens it. And there's some prescription GABA A and B medications that shorten it as well. And some of them lengthen it. So rapid eye movement is where the dream state occurs. It's like the deepest level of sleep. If you use cannabis, you're probably not going to remember dreams. So that can't be a good thing if you're shortening rapid eye movement sleep. So it's probably good to take, breaks like every other day or, something like that. There are benefits of cannabis. It can, you can do your research, decide if it's for you. Is the reason you don't do bench press because you have weak wrist? No, that's not the reason I don't do bench press. The reason I don't do bench press is because I did it for a long time. Everybody does it, and I was just like noticing that it worked my shoulders and triceps more than my pecs. When I go into the gym and work chest, I'm wanting to work my pecs. I'm not wanting to work my triceps and shoulders, and I don't get much out of my pecs, pectoral development with bench press, so I stopped it. Also, it seemed to cause, especially like going heavy than 1s and 2s and 3s and stuff, more elbow pain and shoulder pain. Then it was doing more harm than it was doing me good, So I don't do it. I don't think it's a good exercise for me. Guys with shorter arms, they might get some chest development out of it. I'm not sure. Just find what exercise work for you. In general, though, I've seen much more harm than good with it. I had a training partner that tore his pec. I saw it happen and I heard it. I've also saw it I saw it another time as well. Guy tear his pec. So, how many times do you go to a gym in a day? Right now, I get up, do cardio. I live by the gym, so I do it outside. If it's raining or something like that, I'll just drive to the gym and do it in the gym, or I'll just do it outside and run on grass. Running on grass is awesome for your knees. It takes so much pressure off your knees and pavement, and you can run on soft grass. Then after work, I'll do weights if it's a weight training day, and then later on I'll go and do cardio again, or maybe abs or something like that. It depends on the day, and it depends what I'm wanting to do. Whether I'm reducing body fat or not. Right now I am, so that's what I'm doing. You used to do overhead press. You stopped by because I studied biomechanics, and I don't think it's really a good exercise. For your shoulders, there's much better laterals out here, front, side, and rear laterals are much better at building your shoulders than overhead press. You might get a little bit of like thickness, but with overhead press, but I mean you can get that with if you do incline press, you can do it with that. So biomechanically, if you study biomechanics, really not a good shoulder exercise, and they put a lot of stress on the infraspinatus, which can cause an injury, very prone to an injury, which I've had. And I've had an MRI, a dye-injected MRI, which showed a pinhole tear in my infraspinatus, and that was 10 years ago, so I've done them since then, but I stopped mainly because I studied biomechanics. So, Great Physique Fitness, come and share, thank you.